Hello everyone, welcome to today's video. I want to grab my phone. I have a list here of things that we're going to talk about. I wanted to make this video reaching out to you, the teen mom. You're a young mom and you are either pregnant or maybe you've had the baby and you're trying to decide whether or not you want to breastfeed or you want to continue to breastfeed. And so I wanted to make this video to talk about some of the benefits and why you might choose to breastfeed, and then also talk about a few myths that are out there that might be of a concern to you, making you question whether or not you want to breastfeed. So I thought that we would talk about those things today. We're going to start with some benefits, and we're going to start with the very first one, which is weight loss. Now, under weight loss, there's a couple other things that kind of fall under that, which are reasons for weight loss. Number one, your body burns more calories when you breastfeed. So you burn about 500 more calories a day when you're breastfeeding. So this just helps you get back to pre-pregnancy weight quicker. Also, when you are breastfeeding, your uterus is contracting. So that's going back down to size quicker. And you have less postpartum bleeding. And it's due to the fact that your uterus is contracting and getting rid of that excess blood. It's not as long and it's not as heavy when you are breastfeeding. In the beginning, you will have that heaviness, but it will go away much quicker than someone who isn't breastfeeding due to the fact that every single time you breastfeed, it is contracting your uterus. The next benefit is the delayed onset of your menstrual cycle. As long as you're exclusively breastfeeding, which means you're breastfeeding 8 to 10 times a day, at least 8 times a day. If you're introducing bottles of formula, but you still pump your breast, so you're still, maybe you're feeding 4 times on the breast and then you pump 4 times, you're still getting that 8 times a day. So it's as if you're feeding exclusively, and your body, that can still delay the onset of your menstrual cycle. Another thing I just kind of want to mention in there is someone who wants to strictly pump. So maybe you want to exclusively pump your breast milk. If you do that, again, 8 to 12 times a day, that should delay the onset of your menstrual period. Another benefit is that it saves time and money. When you think of time, you have to think about the time that it might take to clean bottles, sterilize the milk, boiling water. Then you have to carry all that stuff with you. You have to prepare that every time you're going out. You have to make sure you have all of those things ready, and that takes time. So you can't just jump up and go anywhere. Whereas if you're breastfeeding, you can do these last minute things because you're bringing your food, the baby's food, right along with them. The only thing you have to worry about is the diaper bag has its diapers and wipes and, whatever else you keep in there. So it really saves time. And of course, money, because it doesn't cost anything to breastfeed. Another benefit that I want to bring out is hands-free feeding. When you are breastfeeding and the baby and you get good at breastfeeding, you can do a lot. You can do hands, free breastfeeding, basically. You can wear your baby. You have your hands free to do things that need to get done. Maybe you're doing your homework. Maybe you're preparing for an exam. Maybe whatever it might be that you need your hands. Maybe you have an older child and you need to take care of that older child. You, again, have your hands free to do other things. When you're bottle feeding, because we don't recommend propping a bottle, it's very dangerous for a newborn, you have to sit down and you have to hold that bottle. You can't prop it. And so, you're going to have to use your hands for that. Now, so that's just an added benefit of hands-free breastfeeding, or just being able to wear your baby and actually walk around and do things at the same time as feeding. And of course, this takes a little bit of practice and getting used to, but it is something that you can do, and it really does save a lot of time and just less stress on you, because you're getting things done when the baby is feeding And really, it's like the perfect time for doing homework because your body is relaxed, your body is releasing this oxytocin, you're in a much more relaxed state of mind, and so studying or doing homework is a little bit easier just because you're less stressed and anxious because of the hormones that your body releases when you breastfeed. Another benefit is resting. You don't have to get up to go make bottles. You don't have to get up and, move around and do anything. You can bring the baby to you. You can lay on your side and do a lot of side breastfeeding, lying down, side lying down. So during the day, if you want to lay down with the baby and do the side lying position, you're able to get some rest while the baby is feeding. You need to practice safe sleep. So you need to look into that. Another benefit is the baby is healthier. Every time you breastfeed, you're giving your baby your antibodies, your antiviruses, everything that your body's built to fight viruses and bacteria, things that your body needs to fight any type of foreign virus or bacteria, whatever, in your body. And you're basically giving your baby their very first vaccine. You're giving them all of these benefits of and nutrients that help make that baby's immune system strong. And that lasts about 3 months, 2 to 3 months before they get their first vaccine. So when the baby is healthier, it means less missed school time for you, less missed work for you, because you're not having to stay home to take care of the baby. So number one, it's just less stress knowing that your baby is fine and healthy. It's less visits to the doctor and having to pay for that if you have to pay for that. It's just altogether, the baby being healthier is altogether better for you. Less stress, anxiety, you don't miss as much school and work, less visits to the doctor. Just overall, stress and anxiety is minimized. The last thing that I wanted to mention is on the benefits is breastfeeding is something only you can do. I really feel like as a young mom, you lack confidence. You feel like, am I going to be a good mom? Am I going to, am I too young to be, a good mom? And possibly is my own mother or aunt or whoever is with you, are they going to be a better mom? And is my child going to love them better because they're more experienced and they're older? And let me tell you, when you're going to be a great mom. And when you breastfeed, whether you breastfeed or not, you're going to be a great mom. But when you're breastfeeding, this is something only you can do. No one else can do it. So it just builds your confidence, and it's something you don't have to share. Or, I don't know, I feel like as a young mom, when you have all those concerns, knowing that this is something that you can give your baby that nobody else can, nobody can replace that. Nobody can replace you as a mom, no matter what. But being able to breastfeed your baby just gives you that added, to me, it just gives you that added confidence. And I think that's important for you as a young mom. So those are the benefits that I want to talk about. And now we're going to go into a few myths that I think are important to talk about, because I think it's something that you've heard. You've definitely heard it from family members. It could be parents. It could be grandparents. It could be anybody. And then look in your own peers. But a lot of it can be misinformation. It's not true. And so we're going to go in now and talk about a couple myths. Number one, we're going to talk about breast size. Sometimes you think that if you have small breasts that you can't breastfeed. And that is untrue. No matter what size breasts you have, you'll be able to breastfeed. It doesn't matter the size of breast. What matters is your milk capacity. And the more you breastfeed, the more milk you make. You don't have to have large breasts. You don't have to have large breasts. And if you have smaller breasts, they tend to get larger in the beginning. And while you're breastfeeding, they are a little bit larger. But you can have very small breasts and still exclusively feed your baby, because again, it doesn't matter the size of your breasts. Another myth that I think is important to address is you hear people say that when you breastfeed, your breasts begin to sag because you breastfeed. It is true that your breast will sag, but not because you breastfed. It's because you get pregnant and because of genetics. So if your breasts are going to sag, because not every woman's does, it's just your DNA and how you're made up and what your genes are and what your collagen is like in your skin. And the older we get, and the older we get, and however many times we get pregnant, all determines, and our genes all determine whether or not our breasts were sag. But will yours sag more because you breastfeed? No. Because you got pregnant? Maybe, maybe not. Another one I want to mention is that you can't breastfeed because you're going to school and you're going to work, or both. And again, this is another myth, because breastfeeding can be done whether you are with your baby or not, because you can pump. When you're not with the baby, you pump, and when you're with the baby, you feed. And there are certain ways that you can bottle feed your baby that helps kind of keep the baby coming back to the breast, where they're not beginning to like the bottle faster. So the way that you hold the bottle determines the pace of which the milk comes out. And that's really what makes a baby begin to like a bottle over the breast, is because the milk comes out slower in a breast. It also doesn't come out right away. It takes a few seconds for the milk to let down. Whereas with the bottle, it's there right away and it comes in a faster flow. But if you practice paced bottle feeding and you look that up, I also have some videos on that, but if you look that up, you'll see that the way you hold the bottle and making sure that it goes in slow and you control how much they get, you can both breastfeed continue to breastfeed exclusively while you go to school or you go to work. Now, if you don't want to pump when you're at work and you don't want to pump when you're at school, and it is by law that they have to require you that time, they're required to offer that time for you to pump. But if you're uncomfortable with that, then you can always breastfeed at home, pump extra when you can, and if you have to give bottles while they're gone because you can't store up enough, you can continue to partially breastfeed. That's better than nothing. It's still giving them a lot of those health benefits that are so important. Another concern is, what will people think? What will my peers think, and what will people say? And I just want to say, when it comes to that, you want to know what the benefits of breastfeeding are so that you can share those with your peers and with people that maybe aren't so supportive. And you can explain to them what those benefits are and why it's so beneficial. The last concern that I want to talk about is breastfeeding in public. Now you can pump and store your milk and bring bottles out when you're out. Or you can bring, you don't have to worry about any of that and breastfeed. They have so many new things that you can use to basically hide yourself, to be discreet when you're breastfeeding. You don't need to hide yourself, but when you're a little uncomfortable, you want to feel covered and you want to feel like it's not so obvious that you're feeding. So there's so many things out there. I recently just saw they have a breastfeeding hat. So there's a hat you put on your baby's head and it completely covers everything. There's, nursing covers. They now have camis and shirts and dresses that are easily, they're accessible to breastfeed, but then they're also very discreet, and they kind of help make you feel more comfortable when you are breastfeeding in public. So preparing ahead and thinking ahead and knowing what some of these benefits are and knowing the truths behind some of these myths, whether they're true or not, can kind of help you think a little more about whether or not breastfeeding is right for you. Just remembering that it's healthier for you, it's healthier for your baby. It does lower risks of diabetes, high blood pressure, heart disease for you and your baby. It lowers the risks of allergies for your baby. Just a lot of benefits, and I have some videos regarding those as well. So if you like this video, and it was helpful to you, but you have a few more questions about breastfeeding, you can check out some of my other videos. You can leave a comment in the description or in the comments below, and I will try to answer those. And or you can send me an email if you have any personal concerns you want to talk about privately. But I definitely suggest you to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell, and that way you're notified whenever I put out a video, and that you can go into my video library and look at all the different topics on breastfeeding that I have, because I talk about many, many things and answer many questions. So definitely check those out. Thank you guys for watching. I hope this video was helpful for you and answered any questions you have, and I will see you guys in my next video.